Happy Wednesday afternoon. This is Kathleen Henderson from Yankee Homestead. I'm also your doTERRA Gold Upline leader here for our Oil Together Now team. This is our Oil Together Now public education group, and it's time for our Wednesday DIY recipe, our Facebook Live for today's Master Your Metabolism. Hey Chrissy. So I have a couple of things I'm going to talk about today. We are going to make a recipe right here on our Facebook Live. But first, I wanted to mention a couple of other things. I did want to ask for you to go ahead and share a comment, whether you're watching this live or whether you're catching this later as a replay. Hi, Paige. Please share with us what is working well for you from this Master Your Metabolism Challenge. We am always looking for feedback to make things better and serve our team better. So I would love to hear for you what has been helpful and what you are appreciating, what is working well for you, what has been a good challenge for you from our Master Your Metabolism Challenge or educational event, or possible tweaks that we could make. So I would love to hear what's working well for you. And also maybe check in on your goals, like share with us something that you have been working on this week as a part of Master Your Metabolism, whether it's your movement goals. I've seen some people sharing yoga, walking, a certain number of steps per day. Whatever your goal is, kind of use this as a check-in opportunity to let us know how that's going. We've also had hydration goals. That's been a big topic for a lot of us. How are you doing with drinking all of the water that is your goal to drink every day? How are you doing with your Master Your Metabolism supplements and oils that we're using for this event? Can you see that? There, that's better. So this is the product. It says product instructions. This is one of the lists that you can print out and keep somewhere near your supplements or your oils to help you stay on track and remember which oils and which supplements to take when. And just by way of a quick reminder, remember that we are using yarrow palm oil when we wake up. Here is my yarrow palm. So 1 to 2 drops. I do recommend starting out slow. So you probably should still be using 1 drop under your tongue when you wake up. If you've already been using yarrow palm internally, then you can probably go ahead and do the 2 drops under your tongue every morning. You could also take it in an empty veggie capsule, but I think it's way easier, a lot more handy and convenient to just drop it right under my tongue. And I actually like the taste of it. So that's been working well for me. And then at breakfast and at lunch, we're taking our Lifelong Vitality supplements. I've already talked about how to ease into that dosage if this is your first experience with LLV, Lifelong Vitality. So if you're brand new, if you just started with them on Monday, today you could be adding a second one. You should have started with 1 of each at breakfast time, and today you could be adding a second one at lunch. And remember that a lot of us, because of all those good ingredients in the Lifelong Vitality trio, it can rev you up a little bit. It can give you a little bit of an energy boost. And so we recommend not taking it at dinner or even after dinner, because some of us can have trouble sleeping at night because of all that good stuff in the LLV. So I prefer to take mine at breakfast and lunch, and that's what I'm recommending, even though on this sheet it does have us taking it at breakfast and dinner. Okay, I didn't actually write these instructions, but I hope you caught that. I've been sharing that information for a while now. So breakfast and lunch for LLV, and then at every meal we're also taking 1 Slim and Sassy soft gel. I actually don't have those right here because they're on my dining room table to help me remember to take mine at every meal. And then in between meals, you can sip on water with Slim and Sassy oil in your water. And that's up to you how many drops to add, like 1 or 2 drops to your water to sip on through the day. That helps with the munchies. It helps with your metabolism. And you could also alternate between the water, and if you like to chew gum, you can chew the Slim and Sassy gum. And then at bedtime, we're using 1 drop of yarrow palm, again, under the tongue before you go to bed. So I just wanted to highlight and remind everybody that you can print these out. I'm sorry there's a glare on that. But you can print these out and keep them wherever it's helpful for you to help keep you on track with all of those oils and supplements. Okay, before we get into the recipe, I did want to just highlight the Slim and Sassy gum. Can you see that? If I put it up close, there it is, Slim and Sassy gum, the metabolic gum. So this gum has the same oils as our Slim and Sassy oil blend. Those oils are grapefruit, lemon, ginger, peppermint, cinnamon, and a number of benefits from these. I wanted to highlight this because aside from the metabolic support and aside from helping with the munchies, here are additional benefits you can get from chewing Slim and Sassy gum. Some of these were new to me just in preparing for this challenge. I'm totally going to keep this gum as a trick up my sleeve in certain situations. Let me tell you some of the benefits. Maybe this is news to you too. So because of the peppermint and the ginger in the Slim and Sassy gum, it can be helpful for any kind of digestive or upset tummy issues. It can be helpful for heartburn type sensations. It's also good because of the peppermint and the lemon. It helps to open up the airways. And it can even be good for head tension. If that's something you struggle with, you can try using Slim and Sassy gum as one of the tools in your natural tool belt for that. And it's great for whenever you have that ear popping thing going on, like if you're on an airplane or you're driving, hey Jennifer, driving in the mountains or something like that. Try chewing Slim and Sassy gum. Just the chewing itself helps, but then also, again, the ginger and the peppermint, all of those are going to help with that. And altitude sickness. That was a surprise to me. I am totally going to keep some of that on hand when we all travel to Utah every September for doTERRA's big annual convention. Utah has a really high altitude, or if you're headed to Colorado or somewhere, you know, anywhere with a high altitude that you're not accustomed to and you might be concerned about altitude sickness, keep some Slim and Sassy gum with you, and you can even chew it preventively. So I'm totally going to try that. I've never actually gotten altitude sickness. I lived in Colorado for a summer, and I've gone to doTERRA convention in Salt Lake City, Utah for a number of years now and haven't had an issue, but I know several people who have, and it can really knock you out for a little while. So anyway, all of those are additional added benefits of Slim and Sassy gum on top of the metabolic support and on top of helping to curb munchies, especially in the afternoon. So that is Slim and Sassy gum. Now I want to actually make one of our recipes. I posted 3 recipes this morning. The first one was these energy balls. The second one was the cacao nib smoothie. And the third one is the green smoothie with some veggies and fruits. So here's the funny thing. All along I had been planning to make the green smoothie, but I do not have any leafy greens right now. I'm out of spinach and kale, and I just couldn't get to the store. One thing that's really cool about, many of you know that here on our homestead, one of our big goals is to produce as much of our own food as possible, including produce. So one of the great benefits of that is that I don't have to go to the grocery store as often because we have a lot of things to draw from. I've got a lot of meat in the freezer. I've got a lot of produce. Hi, Abby. A lot of produce canned and dried and all of that. But anyway, all that to say, I didn't make it to the grocery store, so I don't have the kale or spinach that I intended to use for the green smoothie. So I'm not going to make that today, but it's an awesome recipe. You should definitely give it a try. This is what I was planning to make all along, the cacao nib smoothie. But for a variety of reasons, I decided to make the energy balls, namely because we already had a little treat after lunch, and if I make the smoothie, then I feel like we need to drink it right away. I definitely don't want to waste it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to make the energy balls because I can make those right now, and we can keep them in the fridge. Hey, Kathy, we can keep them and enjoy them, you know, later on. So this is what we are going to make, which you probably already guessed from all these recipes behind all of these ingredients here behind me. But I did want to point out one thing because, oh, and I just realized that I forgot one ingredient. I'm going to have to jump off camera and grab that in a second. But Somebody asked a question yesterday. Yesterday I was talking about the supercharged cacao latte, which is kind of like a dairy-free and caffeine-free version of bulletproof coffee. We talked about all of that yesterday in the Tuesday DIY on the Facebook Live from Master Your Metabolism. And so we talked about cacao because that was one of the ingredients. And I wanted to mention, and I did actually find a bag of it. In the video yesterday I said, I do keep my cacao powder in a canister, so I don't usually have the bags on hand, but I did find, I had this one laying around. Can you see that? I know this is all backwards for you on Facebook Live, but hopefully you can see that. The brand is Navitas, sorry. I'm reading it backwards, Navitas Organics, and it's cacao powder. So someone was asking, what is the difference between cacao powder and cocoa powder? At first, this was Faith Evans. She said at first she thought I was just saying cocoa differently, but it is actually two different ingredients, and it's one of the ingredients for the cacao nib smoothie. So I wanted to highlight this. Some of you already know all about this, but just in case this is new information for you, cocoa powder and cacao powder actually come from the very same source, the cacao bean, like the chocolate bean. Cocoa powder is just more heavily processed. Cacao powder is much more nutritious because it is less processed and it retains more of its nutritional value. You've probably seen, studies on the benefits of dark chocolate and the cacao bean. Those benefits, I can tell you, those benefits are not coming from highly processed like milk chocolate candy. They're not coming from highly processed cocoa powder. They are coming from, the closer you can get to the original source, the cacao bean, like the cacao powder, the closer you can get to that, the more nutritional value you're going to have. So this is what we want to use when we're talking about cacao powder. And if you have old recipes that you want to convert and give them a healthy makeover, you can substitute cacao powder for cocoa powder, okay? And also, in that smoothie recipe that we're not making today, it calls for cacao nibs. And again, those come from the cacao bean, and what they are is just, the cacao bean starts out as the bean. The nibs are just chopped up cacao beans, so they're like big chunks. And then the powder is just ground cacao beans. So it's just several different forms of the same thing, the same food. So I just wanted to highlight that since people were asking yesterday. Okay, so now we are going to make the energy balls. I've already measured out all the ingredients, and I was going to share a little bit about some of those ingredients for you today. Oh, and since Kathy, are you still there? Can you give me a wave if you're still there? I know you hopped on. I can't exactly see who is still with us. I mentioned a fun little giveaway for guessing what I was going to make today. And even though Kathy guessed the smoothie, which is not what I'm making, Kathy is the winner because I just took I looked at all of the comments and drew a winner from all of those comments, even if you didn't guess the right thing. And like I said, technically I was planning to make that smoothie all along until just this morning. So Kathy is our winner for that little giveaway. Kathy, I'm going to send you this beautiful deodorant, the new exclusive limited time. I think it's sold out now too. It's not available anymore. This is coming to you for all of your movement that you're doing this week with our Master Your Metabolism and in the days ahead. So that's for Kathy. And now we're going to make the energy balls. So we start with 1 1/4 cups rolled oats. And I am doubling this recipe because I always at least double recipes. I do a lot of batch cooking. I have 3 hungry growing boys at my house. And I also like to, oh, Kathy is still with us. Yes, you're welcome. Yay for you. So if I'm going to take the time to make something or cook something, I say I might as well make a whole bunch of it so that we can use it for leftovers all week, or in this case, so we can have this little treat, this little snack last us for a while. Because if I made just this single recipe, do you know how quickly my boys would polish that off? They probably wouldn't even last a full day. So anyway, I'm doubling the recipe. So I have 2 1/2 cups of rolled oats. I think I put those back in the fridge, but I'm kind of on the fence. Hey, Amy. I'm kind of on the fence about grains in general. I'm not going to go on and on about this. I'm just going to say we're gluten-free at my house. And I try to be as corn-free as possible. You can read about corn. Corn does not agree with me. And I try really to avoid grains for the most part, but I'm trying, it's like the 80-20 rule. I'm trying not to be super strict and a stickler about it. There is a bread, a homemade gluten-free bread that is made with rice flour and black beans that we get from a farmer's market up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where my family lives, and my family loves that, and it makes my life a lot easier. So we do pick that up from time to time, keep it in the freezer, and use it in a pinch. And we do, what other grains do we eat? We've started eating oatmeal again. I was not making oatmeal for a while just because of this whole grains thing for me. But my boys have been asking for it, and it's super cold, and it's a really easy breakfast item. So what I do if we're going to be eating grains that I am preparing, we just soak them, we ferment them overnight. So I have an oatmeal recipe, it's on my blog. We just soak the oats overnight, and it's pretty simple to make in the morning. And we love to add in our own home canned peach butter, which is really just peaches. That's all it is. It's delicious. But anyway, so I'm kind of on the fence about oats, but I had oats on hand because we just started making oatmeal again. And so I use Bob's Red Mill gluten-free, certified gluten-free, old-fashioned rolled oats. And I've already got them measured out, 2.5 cups. And then I have 2 tablespoons, but then I've doubled that, so it's 4 tablespoons of mix-ins. I have chia seeds and flaxseed. This is my flaxseed. Again, I keep a lot of things in canisters and jars for mouse-proof storage and also for healthier storage than plastic bags. These are my chia seeds. Just make sure, you can get them at health food stores. You can get them, I'll post purchasing links for all of these if that would be helpful. Just make sure to look for high quality brands, organic brands. You can get them at your health food store. You can order them from Amazon. Even if you don't buy them from Amazon, you can look up those brands on Amazon and look at the reviews. I always look for something that has a high review on Amazon, even if I don't buy it on Amazon. So that is, for my doubled recipe, that's 4 tablespoons of the chia seeds and the flax seeds, which help to nourish the body. They help to give you a sense of fullness. They have lots of nutrition. And then nut butter of choice. So you probably know, or maybe you don't know, that peanut butter is a little bit controversial depending on who you ask. We do have peanut butter at my house. We went for a long while without using peanut butter at all, but I added it back in. I decided not to be paranoid about that. And so, but I am using almond butter. We do a lot of almond butter as well. Hey, Angela. So almond butter, we get ours at Costco. Funny story about us. I am a very reluctant, hey Lauren, good to see you again, 2 days in a row. I am a very reluctant Costco member, and we laugh because we found this article online that said, it was something about Costco and almond butter, like the almond butter is one of the greatest buys at Costco, and we were laughing because we literally joined Costco because of the almond butter. That is the only reason. I held out for so long, and Angela, if you're still there, Angela even bought almond butter for me at Costco a couple times, I think, with her membership, because I just didn't want to join Costco. I won't go on and on about that on my soapbox, but anyway, I really do not like Costco, but that is where we get our almond butter, because almond butter can be so expensive, and Costco really does have the best price on almond butter. So we get the Kirkland signature Costco brand almond butter, and we buy it by like the flat. You know how it's on display in those little cardboard flats? We buy a whole flat of it at a time because we use it for a lot of things. So I have one cup. Can you still hear me when I turn away? I don't want to make it difficult for you to hear me, but I have 1 cup because I've doubled the recipe of almond butter here. Put that in. And then what's next here? Maple syrup. So the recipe calls for 1/3 cup honey or maple syrup. Kathy says she likes to use no sugar added sun butter since she has to avoid almonds. Yes, and I know Angela has to avoid almonds too. And I did mean to bring that up. So thanks, Kathy, for mentioning that. You can use sun butter from sunflower seeds also if you are avoiding nuts altogether. Any nut butter should work. And then, oh, did I pour that in? So what I was saying is that the honey and maple syrup, I always almost automatically reduce the amount of sweetener in a recipe. So this, if I were doubling this, I would use 2/3 cup honey or maple syrup, but what I am doing is just using 1/2, and that even feels like a lot to me. But I actually haven't made this particular recipe before. I have a similar recipe on my blog that I'm more familiar with, but the first time I make a recipe, I will follow it a little more closely with the sweetener. So that's why I'm using a 1/2 cup. I have a feeling that we can get away with even less than a 1/2 cup for my doubled recipe here because we are a very low sweetener household. And I like to take every opportunity I can to reduce sweeteners. But anyway, so that's the maple syrup. This is maple syrup. You want to look for the dark, can you see that? The dark grade A, dark color maple syrup from a good source. And then I'm going to jump over, I forgot to grab my salt, so I'm going to grab that. Just give me 1 second to grab the salt. And I actually forgot my wooden spoon too, but so we're going to add, how much salt? I forgot to measure this out ahead of time. The salt is 1/4, so since I'm doubling the recipe, I'm going to make that 1/2 teaspoon. If I can find, yep, 1/2 teaspoon. Make sure that you are using unrefined sea salt. I love the Real Salt brand, Redmond's Real Salt. Do not use table salt. I hope most of you probably already know that by now, but regular table salt is terrible for your health, but a good unrefined sea salt is really beneficial, very nutritious to the body. Your body needs salt, but it needs a good unrefined salt with all of those trace minerals. It does not need table salt that has been processed and iodized and all of that. That is, you want to stay away from that. You want unrefined sea salt. And what is next here? Oh, I skipped the vanilla. So we need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I make my own vanilla, so you can see I actually crossed out, this is the second time that I used this bottle. There are my vanilla beans. I have a little bit of vanilla left in this bottle. It's super easy to make your own vanilla. I have a recipe for that on the blog, homemade vanilla extract. So we're gonna add 1, 2, and if a little extra runs in the bowl, I don't care because the vanilla tastes amazing. And then I think we just have one thing left to add. We have our mix-in. So for my doubled recipe, I'm adding 1 cup mix-ins. You can use chocolate chips, you can use chopped nuts, you can do shredded coconut, raisins, or dried cranberries. Again, dried fruit is something that I try to limit our intake of. So I have a mixture of chopped nuts here. I had some random chopped pecans in the pantry and I added some cashews. And then I have some mini chocolate chips, and I was going to show you in case you don't know about these. These are the chocolate chips that I prefer at my house. The brand is Enjoy Life, and I like the mini chips because when you use, thanks Angela, she loves my vanilla bottle. I think it's an old, I think olive oil came in it or something. So I love to recycle old jars. I have a little bit of a jar problem, as Angela knows. Enjoy Life mini chips. So if you use mini chips, you can use less. I feel like 1/2 cup of regular chocolate chips versus 1/2 cup of mini chips. I can use less mini chips to achieve like the equivalent of regular chocolate chips. Does that make sense? Because they're smaller, like they spread out more throughout the cookie or whatever it is that you're making. So that's a great trick, is to use mini chips because you can get away with using less. And this is a great brand because they are free of, their little tagline is eat freely. They are free of a lot of the common allergens. They are gluten-free and nut-free. They are dairy-free. They are free from sulfites. So anyway, this is the brand that I like to use. And once again, I keep mine in a jar in the pantry. So I have now added all of our ingredients, and I am just gonna stir this. I will say, when I'm working with almond butter, I prefer to use the food processor, because you know how the almond butter jar, like at the bottom of the jar, unless you stir it really, really well, and like these almond butter jars are so deep that it's difficult to stir them. And of course, I don't know why they don't make almond butter jars taller, because you need extra room at the top to stir without sloshing all of the oil on yourself, right? Doesn't that drive you crazy? So it's hard to really stir the almond butter and get it consistently smooth all the way to the bottom of the jar. So when I get to the bottom of the jar and it's all like, it's harder to stir and harder to scoop, using the food processor makes that a lot easier. But today I didn't want to run the food processor while I was doing the video, and I need a little bit of a arm workout. Anyway, so that's, you probably don't need to watch me stir all of this, but basically you just stir all of this together, or you can use your food processor to mix it. What I like about the food processor too is that I don't have to chop nuts ahead of time, because the food processor will do that for me when I add them in. And same thing with the oats. I actually prefer to break down the oats a little bit with the food processor, as opposed to having these big whole oat flakes. So if you're gonna make it in the food processor, add your oats, and if you're using nuts, add your nuts and your oats together, and pulse a couple of times until it reaches, you know, a smaller consistency that you're happy with, and then add all of your, hey Denise, then add in all of your other things, and it makes it a lot easier with the, especially with that thick almond butter. So anyway, we're not going to take the time to stand here and watch me stirring all of this, but you stir it all together, and then if you want to, you can kind of test the consistency of it, and if it feels okay to you, you can go ahead and make it into balls right away. But it is, a suggestion is to toss it in the, or don't toss it, but place it in the refrigerator for maybe 20-30 minutes and give it a chance to firm up a little bit. It makes it less sticky to work with. So anyway, just stir or use your food processor to mix well and combine, and then put it in little balls and store it in the refrigerator. I like to store mine in the refrigerator. It keeps them firmer and less sticky for eating. And also, I don't know if this phenomenon occurs at your house, but if you leave something like energy balls out on the counter, they will get eaten much more quickly than if you put them in the refrigerator, where, you know, out of sight, out of mind. People don't see them, or they forget about them. So anyway, I like to store them in the refrigerator. So those are the DIY energy balls. They are a great healthy treat. I will say that we have sweet teeth at my house, I have a sweet tooth, and I firmly believe that we eat super healthy at my house. We eat mostly paleo, and as you know, I source everything from organic, even from our own production here on the homestead. That's a big goal and a big topic for me that I like to talk about and educate about. And so I feel like because we're doing all of those things, I feel totally fine about including healthy treats as a regular part of our meal plan, what we eat at my house. So we actually eat a treat after most, not breakfast, but after most lunches and dinners. So, but we're eating healthy treats like this that has body nourishing ingredients like the chia seeds, the flax seeds, the almond butter, the healthy, good quality maple syrup, the cacao powder, and all of that. So I have no qualms, and I personally, because these have chocolate chips in them and maple syrup, I would not consider them a snack. This is not something that I would snack on in the afternoon when I need something to get me over the afternoon hump. These at my house are a treat. So we would have, and everybody would have 2 energy balls. This is our rationing at my house for treats. You get 2, so I try to keep things a little on the small side. 2 if we're having them after lunch, you know, or 2 as an after dinner treat. If we're really splurging, it's, you know, I'm feeling especially generous, then I'll let everybody have 3. The only exception to that, it's a treat and not a snack rule, is when we are on a road trip or at the beach. If we do a beach trip, these are a really handy thing to take, to pack and take on the beach. Hi, Stevie Jean. Yay, energy balls. She says she loves the Enjoy Life products and she missed the beginning of the video. That's okay. You can go back and catch the rest of it after we finish here. But anyway, so that's my little, for what it's worth. These are definitely a treat at my house and not a snack. For a snack, try the smoothie, the cacao nib smoothie, the green smoothie, the cacao latte that we talked about yesterday, or the bulletproof coffee. But that is how to make today's energy balls. And then I wanted to close today by just reminding everybody, I think a lot of the folks that I'm seeing joining us live right now, I know you are already on our team. So 2 things. If you're on our team, I wanted to throw this out there that we're doing this fun little caption this thing over in our members only group on Facebook. So go check that out. And if you have a fun caption to share, there are 3 photos posted all together. I had the honor and the privilege and the fun of being a presenter at last weekend's big local Northern Virginia event here for our regional team, and I got to talk about homesteading with essential oils, and it was lots of fun. And some of the gals from our team were there with me, and they took pictures, and some of the pictures were kind of funny, so I posted them in our members only group. And if you share a caption, you're entered to win a prize. So I'm gonna leave that running for, today's Wednesday, I think I'll leave that running through the end of the day on Thursday. And on Friday, I'm gonna try to remember on Friday to pick a winner, or maybe even 2 or 3 winners from those comments. So some of the comments so far are cracking me up, and I would love if you have anything else to add there. Go do that over in our members only group, and we'll see who wins the prizes for that. And then if you're not a member yet, if you have not opened your wholesale account with doTERRA yet, there is an awesome promotion going on right now that I wanted to make sure you knew about. And even if you are already a member, this is great for you to know about for your friends who maybe are wanting to get started with doTERRA oils. Red Mandarin and Serenity through the end of January, which is what, I think only 8 or 9 days left of the month. If you open your wholesale account with the 100-point order, which all of the kits qualify for the 100-point order, you will get, now this is only a 5 milliliter size bottle. The promotion is actually for a full size 15 milliliter size bottle of Red Mandarin with a 100-point order. If you open your membership account with doTERRA with a 200-point order, some of the bigger kits, starter kits, will make you automatically eligible for that 200-point threshold. You will get both. You'll get a 15 milliliter bottle of Red Mandarin and a 15 milliliter bottle of Serenity. Red Mandarin is awesome in the diffuser. It's awesome to put in your water as a citrus oil to sip in your water. Helps with metabolism. It helps to wake you up in the morning. It is uplifting to the mood. It's great to wear as a perfume. A nice combination is Red Mandarin and Rose together. And then Serenity is one of our favorite calming and bedtime sleepy oils. I also use it on the dryer balls in my dryer for scenting my laundry. And what else? I feel like I'm missing something else that I like to use Serenity for. It's very calming. It's a great bedtime sleepy oil in the diffuser, or just to wear, put on yourself, or even take a minute and sniff and inhale. It's calming for anxious feelings too. I've heard that from a lot of people. If you struggle with having anxious feelings throughout the day or at certain times, Serenity is a good choice. So anyway, that promotion is going on right now through the end of January. So if you haven't opened your account yet, now is a great time to do it. And remember to share your feedback with us about Master Your Metabolism. How is it going for you? What is going well for you? How are you doing with your movement, your hydration, your sleep, your hours of sleep at night, your Yarrow Palm and LLV and Slim and Sassy? And how can we make this better? I'm always looking for feedback on these things that we're doing for our team so we can serve our team better and best to meet your needs, to support you here with all of your health goals and your wellness goals and your essential oil usage. Okay, I'm going to sign off for today. I will be live tomorrow on Thursday. I think that tomorrow is our dry brushing day, so that will be lots of fun. And I am planning to go live at, I think, 2 o'clock. 2 or 3 o'clock has seemed to be a good time for more of us in the afternoon. So keep watching this group for the early morning updates for tomorrow, Thursday's Master Your Metabolism. I will post a time in the morning. I will let you know what time I'm going live in the afternoon, and it will probably be about 2 o'clock or 2:30. Okay, so happy rest of your Wednesday. Happy oiling, and I'm cheering you on with your Master Your Metabolism goals. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.